Everyone, welcome to this quick video where I'm going to try to see how fast I can make a snake game in Python using the Kivy framework, and then at the end I'm going to put it on my iPhone. So I'll be making a snake game in Python and putting it on my iPhone. Alright, so I'm going to start the timer here and we will go ahead and see how quickly I can get it done. I've got nothing in my folder. I'm going to create a main.py file and a main.kv file, and yeah, I think I'll work with that. Okay. I'm going to have a widget called snake part, and let's see, I want it to be colored, so I'll say canvas.before. I'll do a color, and RGB will be random.random, and then we'll copy paste that. Okay, so let me import random. Alright, and then also I'm going to make my game, so my game screen widget, and I'm going to put another widget that I'll call food, so ID food, and oops, I need a rectangle. Okay, rectangle size is self.size, pause is self.pause. Okay, my food widget is going to be pretty much just the exact same, but I don't need to create more than one. I just want to keep the food and the snake a bit separate. Okay, actually this one will have a size of 40, and this one will have a size of, size 40. Maybe the position will be set like at 120. Okay, so let's go to main.py. From kivy.app, import app, app class main app. We'll just pass for now, main app dot run. Alright, let's make my snake widget, which has to inherit from widget, and we'll pass. And also class game, game screen. Yeah, game screen is okay. Game screen, which is also just a widget, and pass. From kivy.uix.widget, import widget. Okay, if I run right now, I should just have my main screen and oops, is my computer frozen? What happened here? My computer froze. Whoa. Holy smokes. Okay, there you go. Here's my blank screen and my food. Random color. Excuse me. Let's make my game screen white, because I think that looks a bit better. RGB is 111 for white. Okay, white screen and my green food. That's fine. Okay, so first thing I need to do is from kivy.clock import clock. And when I start my app, def on start, I'll say clock.schedule interval. And I'll say self.root. Next frame, and we'll call it once every half a second. So root, self.root in this case refers to the game screen, so I need to create the next frame function. Okay, and let's see, in each frame I need to move the snake, check for snake colliding with food, and then I'll need to check for a snake colliding with snake, I guess, and also colliding with wall. Alright, so let's see. Also, on the start, let me create a new snake, I guess. Let's see, def new game. So when I start a new game, I need to create a snake part for the head. So I'll say head is snake part, or snake widget. That should be snake part. Snake part, because that's what I have in my KB file. Snake part. Okay, head's a new snake part. And let's see, head dot pause should be 0. Okay, and then I'm going to keep track of all my snake parts. So I'll have snake parts as an empty list. And new game actually self.snakeParts is going to need to be reinitialized. And let's see, step size I'll say is 40, so that's like how much my snake moves in each frame. And I'll say movement X is 0 at the start, movement Y is 0. Okay, so each new game that needs to be redone. Alright, so then I need to self.snakeParts.append head. Okay, so now head is in my snake parts. And then also self.addWidget head. Okay, so when I start my app, let's call self.root.newGame. Oops. New game, and I should add my snake part. Oops. Okay. There's my snake part, and I'm calling this function once every half a second, but it doesn't do anything right now. So move the snake. Okay, so we have two parts. Move the head, move the body. The head is pretty easy. We just do head.x plus equals self dot. Oh wait, we need to reference the head first. Head is self.snakeParts 0. That's the first index. And then head.x plus equals self.movementx. Head.y plus equals self.movementy. Now let's add a way to control our snake. I'm going to do that with touches. So I'll say def on touch up, and then I'll say dx. So if you slid your mouse or slid your finger over somewhere on your screen, this is touch.x. So how far you slid on x is going to be where the touch is when you lift it up, minus touch dot original position 0. So that's where the touch was down. And then dy is touch.y minus touch dot original position 1. If abs dx is greater than abs dy, then we know that we're moving left or right. And then if dx is greater than 0, oops, then that means we're moving right. So I'll say self.movement x is step size. Oops, self.step size. Okay. Else we're moving left, so self.movement y is negative self.step size. Okay. And then else, this means we're moving up or down. We have if, I'm going to copy this, but change y to x everywhere. Okay, if dy, then self.movement y is step size. That should be y, oops, I had a typo, x. And then if we're moving left or right, self.movement y is 0. If we're moving up or down, self.movement x is 0. So let's see if now when I drag, okay, there you go. You can see every frame I'm moving my snake head. Okay, very cool. So let's close that and let's do some collision detecting. So there's a nice function called self.collideWidget for any widget in Kivy, but I'm actually going to modify this a little bit because it doesn't do quite what I want. Okay, so, oops. Okay, let's delete that. Oops, shit. Copy there. Okay, I'm creating a new function that is pretty much like collides widget. I'm going to say collides widget, okay, and then self wid1, wid2, so it's going to check between two different widgets. All right. And also, oops, why is that not a dot? Also, these need to be equal in my case for my game. Less than or greater than equal. Okay. So now I have this collides widget, which tells me if two widgets are colliding with each other. So we'll move the body later. That's a little bit more complicated. Okay, check for snake colliding with food. If self.collides widget head and food, doesn't know what food is yet, but we can say food is self.ids.food because we've given it an ID right here, food. Okay, so if we collide with food, then food.x, we're going to change where the food is. Let's say randint 0 window dot width for height minus food.height. Sorry, food.width. So change the x value of food to be a random integer between 0 and the width of the screen minus the width of the food. Randint isn't defined, and neither is window. So from random, import randint, and from kivy.core.window, import window. All right, there we go, and then we'll do the same thing for y. But instead of width, now we're doing height. Okay, so now if I collide with the food, it should move somewhere. And it does, very cool. All right, and then we also need to add a new tail. So I'll say new part for the snake is snake part, and new part dot x is self.last x, and new part dot y is self.last y. Last y and last x need to be defined up here somewhere. Let's say self.last x is self.snake parts. So get the last snake part and get his x value. And same for y. Actually, I don't think this needs to be self. I think we don't need that. Okay, y. Great. So now new part has a position. We know where to put it. And then I will self.snakeparts.append new part. And then also self.add widget, otherwise it won't show up on the screen. Snake part. Okay. Oops, new part. So now when I eat food, it should create a new piece where my snake was before. There you go, but it's not moving quite yet. Okay, nice. Let's see if that's working. Actually, for now, we'll go to the collision with this collision with the rest of the snake. So if self.collides widget head, and we need to say for part in self.snake parts. So check each snake part except the head. So we'll start from the second index. If self.collides widget part head, then we can say self.new game because it's game over. And then with the wall, we can do a pretty neat trick, which is if not self.collides widget self and head. So there's basically self is the game screen. So if the head of the snake is not inside the game screen, if it's not colliding with the game screen, then we're out of the screen and that's not good. So self.new game, you've hit the wall. Okay. So now if my snake moves out of the screen somewhere, like if I go left, okay, it stops. All right, and let's see him eat some food. Okay. All right, looks a little bit funky at the moment, but let's move the body. Okay, to move the body, we need to move the head is down here. All right, for the snake part, the snake parts depend on the previous snake part. So for snake part, or for part in, actually I'll say I comma part. For I comma part in enumerate self.snake parts. If I is 0, we're gonna just continue because that's the head. And then otherwise, we'll say part.new y is self.snake parts I minus 1, so get the previous snake part and get his y. And the same thing for x. So I'm not actually assigning the new position, because if I do, then the next time through the loop, this part is going to become this guy, and I'll already have updated his y, so it'll cause issues. So once I've got new y's for all my parts, I'll say for part in self.snake parts except the head, part.y equals part.new y, and part.x equals part.new x. Okay, so now my snake body should be moving. Let's see. There you go, nice. Snake body's moving. And if this works, as it does, bam, we have got our snake game. If I go off the screen, oops, screws up. Okay, so it keeps moving, so that's bad. Let's stop that. And also it doesn't clear my old snake. So let's go back to the new game. Oops, that should be self.movementx. There you go. That'll take care of the snake moving after I lose the game. And then also, the first thing we want to do in a new game is clear any snake widgets. So for child in self.children. So this will give me all the children of my game screen. And we'll check if the child is a snake part. And then let's see, to be removed is an empty list. So to be removed dot append child, and then for child in to be removed. Let's see, to be child. Wait, what is it? Self dot remove widget child. There you go. So get rid of all of them. Okay, so let's eat a cup of food, and then go accidentally bonk into ourselves, or maybe the end of the screen. Okay. Here we go. Nice, I've eaten some food, let me crash into myself. Okay, bam, I did. Snake is gone. We're back at the lower left here. This is my snake, and it's not moving anymore. So if I go crash into the wall, same thing happens. Nice. There's my snake game. Let's get it on my phone. Okay, close that. 16 minutes to make the snake game, not too bad. Terminal. Okay, PWD. Okay, so I'm using the Kivy iOS package to package the app for my phone. First thing I need to do is sudo /toolchain.py create. I'll call snake game, and then pass the folder snake game. Nice. Okay, so it's creating the Xcode project. And boom, there it is. I need to change some folder permissions. Snake game, get info. I need to unlock it because for some reason my computer doesn't let me read and write. Oops. There you go. Okay, let's open up the Xcode project. So open snake game .xcode. And I need to make a couple changes really quick, like put in my developer profile, go to build phases, and let's see, -o -no perms. There you go. And now I'm going to unplug my mouse, and then I'll plug in my phone. And then it should pop up here. I'm going to start recording on my phone too. Let's see. There you go. There's my device. And I'll run it. And we'll just give it a second to build the app on my phone. And I should be able to play it on my phone. In the meanwhile, I guess I'll keep playing over here. Oh, doesn't work with my mouse disconnected. Imagine that. Build succeeded. Okay, so it's going on my phone. I'm going to change the how quickly the frames go by. So where was that? Let's say 0.25. Double it. There you go. Alright, looks pretty good. Now there's a lot that you could do to fix this game and clean it up, but I mean it works as it is, and it's pretty cool. So maybe you would, if you were doing this on your own, you'd have the food spawn in only positions that are increments of like 40 or something, or you might try to make the animation a bit smoother. or add some images maybe. But anyway, it looks like it's just gotten onto my phone. So let's see what it looks like on my phone. There you go. There's Snake on my phone in Python using the Kivy framework, and all of that. And where's my timer? 20 minutes. Boom, on the dot. There you have it. All right, thanks for watching, guys.